a lot of capital is being raised. Our group is on fire. The management teams of those companies are really knocking it out of the park. The investment committee obviously supports what they're doing. And I can tell you, behind the scenes in our group, even though we're not together in the same room, we're communicating a lot. We're trying to take advantage of this marketplace and get after it and do what we do best.
Welcome to Crux Investor. First of all, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like it, give us a thumbs up, much appreciated. And do leave your comments because it helps us understand the sorts of questions you think we should be asking, how you think we did, and of course, what you thought of the company. If you haven't already done so, please click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, for more videos like this, click the notification bell. We spoke earlier today to Jim Paterson, CEO of ValOre Metals. They're a Brazilian exploration play. They're part of the Discovery Group, which includes Great Bear, Fireweed Zinc, and also Bluestone, to mention about a few. They are the guys who did the Camonite deal with great success. So they're looking to replicate that across the group here. Jim tells us about a $1.2 million credit facility, a drawdown facility, which they've put in place to allow them to start drilling. They hope to get back into fields in June and be able to report some drill results towards the end of this year, at which point they will need to raise some more capital. Take a look in the description below at the variety of topics we discussed. Anything interests you in particular, click on that timestamp and that'll take you to that part of the video. Enjoy what Jim had to say. Hey Jim, how you doing, sir?
Hi Matt, how are you?
Long time. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
Oh my God, I missed you. I missed you dearly.
Me too. But here we are together, darling. So why don't we kick off with that 1 minute overview of the business first for people who may not have heard the story 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely. So more information at valoremetals.com. The company has a project in northeastern Brazil, PGE, so palladium platinum. We have a resource there at 43101. We've just recently announced that we have the finances in place to complete the first phase of a 2-phase program, drilling, exploration. First phase will be roughly a little under 3,000 meters, and the second, roughly the same amount. We will be there as soon as we can safely arrive on property and do it from a logistical and then a sampling perspective so that we're not spreading COVID around the property or the town. We're going to do it safely, but we'll start as soon as we can. So what that means actually for us, the difference between the last time we talked, Matt, and now is that at the time we didn't have the finances straightened out. So we were sitting there stuck in the muck. The difference now is we have a bridge facility organized and negotiated so we can start the exploration, drilling, generate news and results, and we're ready to roll pre-financing.
Okay, maybe let's talk about that in this order then. So right, you've gone and got yourself a credit facility for $1.2 million. It's a drawdown facility, so you've obviously paid to have that set up and you'll draw it down as and when you need it or as and when you can deploy it. What's the plan? What are you going to use it for and how over what period of time?
For drilling, that's what the money will be used for. And there are some other things that we can do on the property, but the costs are quite low. Really, the big cost will be drilling and assaying. So we have targets there. We've split it up, try to do it somewhat logically in both the phase 1 and 2. We've got resource expansion, target advancement, and basically greenfield discovery drilling. So there'll be sort of a mix of each in each of those, in each of the 2 programs. And what we think that'll help us do is appeal to slightly different audiences. Some people, particularly the people that follow us, they love when we're drilling new zones and pulling potholes and mineralized intervals. Other people like to see that we're advancing the project. So are we growing the resource base? Are we looking at the asset value? We're looking at bringing this thing to a development stage. So we do both of those things to satisfy as large and broad an audience as possible.
Okay, but the thing holding you back right now is, as you say, COVID restrictions in terms of getting there and doing too much. Likewise, it's a kind of indeterminate period that you'll be restricted in what you're going to be capable of doing. So $1.2 million is going to stretch until when? Until you've used it up, and then what?
Well, I don't think actually will be as delayed as you think. Certainly, different regions of Brazil have been affected differently. There's a variety in terms of the outbreak. in the area that we're working, there isn't really a big impact. And so at this time, we believe it would be safe to move rigs in. There are some issues in Fortaleza, which is a town of about 3 million people. That's about 4 hours away. There, it's actually getting pretty serious. But outside in the area near Capitan Mor, it isn't. So I don't think we'll be as delayed as other places in the world. There isn't a outright ban on work like there are in different countries. So, if we're planning for June.
Okay.
So to answer your question, probably if we're drilling, it's going to be 3 to 4 months of drilling that we'd be able to get through with that bridge loan. So between now and then, I'm going to have to run around with my hat in my hand and try to convince others to co-invest with us.
Okay, so obviously it depends what the drill bit discovers as to what you're going to ask for in terms of an amount. But you're going to have to go back out for equity this side of Christmas to be able to kind of expand the work. So is it a case of when you'll know and you'll tell us? Or do you have an idea in your mind today, what you're going to need to raise?
Yeah, it won't be in excess of 3 million Canadian dollars for the two-phase program.
Okay, so small. Including the 1.2 or excluding?
That would be including that.
Right. Okay. So there's a relatively small program. Okay. Well, look, fine on that. Just let us know how you get on. Obviously, I think they can press the link below in the description to look at the previous interview we did, where you kind of went into more detail about how you're approaching this and the business plan for ValOre. But talk to me about the Discovery Group, because you've had 2 quite big announcements within the rest of the group which you're involved with.
Absolutely. So I think we just looked at the date, the 1st of May, I think it was, where Bluestone closed a $92 million Canadian bought deal financing, which is phenomenal. And then this morning, Great Bear announced a $20 million bought deal, and it was upsized. The latest announcement is 33 Canadian, so we'll see how that all settles out when it actually closes. It's supposed to be closing by the 1st or 2nd of June. So a lot of capital is being raised. Our group is on fire. The management teams, those companies are really knocking it out of the park. The investment committee obviously supports what they're doing and the proposed use of proceeds. Very exciting projects, and I can tell you, behind the scenes in our group at Discovery Group, even though we're not together in the same room, we're communicating a lot, and there's a lot happening. We're trying to take advantage of this marketplace and get after it and do what we do best, is build teams and run exploration programs and try to make discoveries and add value that way.
Well, that's phenomenal. $92 million, absolutely phenomenal for Bluestone. We've interviewed them a couple of times. Pretty good numbers on that project. You excited about what they're going to do with that money?
Yeah, and phenomenal support from the Lundin family in that case. I think a lot of times people they aren't able to do a lot of research themselves, but when they know who else is in the deal, and you as an institutional investor or family office will understand that, they ask you, who else is in the deal? Well, the Lundins are in the deal. They know their stuff, and they've made a major commitment to the company project.
Well, you've been involved with the Lundins for a while.
I have. They're major shareholders of Bluestone, but certainly Lucas has invested in several companies in our group over the years, or the trusts associated with the Lundin family. Kaminak was a really good example of that. That was a really good win. And I think that they were probably happy with that investment. But I would say that each individual investment is made on its own merits. And in the case of Bluestone, it was through a connection that John Robbins had that we were able to make that presentation. Bluestone was able to make the presentation to Lucas Lundin initially for him to initially invest in the project. Okay.
Well, it's exalted territory you're moving into. So thanks again. We hope you can do something with that 1.2. I hope you do get back into country and start that drill program. Let us know how you get on.
We'll definitely keep in touch. I can promise you that, and appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience. Thanks, Matt.